Hello, my Jedi friends. It is time for the energy amplification or amplification live stream. It's time for me to sort my speech out, maybe. That's what time it is. It's time for me to articulate myself better. Yes, it certainly is, my Jedi friends. So today, we are going to amplify our energy. That's exactly what we're going to do today. That is what the entire live stream is all about. It's about whatever energy you're in. We're going to amplify or amplify it. That is what we're here to do. So, without further ado, you know the drill if you're a regular on here, which you probably are if you're watching this. I've got Altug. Altug has joined the fray. Fair play to you, Altug. Great to see you, my friend. You know the drill then. I won't need to explain the process to you, my friend. Since you've just finished the Jedi Training Academy. So hopefully you're in a space where you can amplify your energy, Altug, and anyone else that's watching this. So the first thing we're going to do is ground ourselves. In fact, that's something that you should do every day, all day, every day. Ground yourself, ground yourself, ground yourself, ground yourself, especially if you're high empathy, my friends. Grounding is the most important. We can get lost when we don't stay grounded. So if you've got your own grounding method, do it. If not, just imagine a ball of light at the center of the earth and a cord connecting to the base of your spine. And by thinking about it, you are there, my Jedi friends, because energy follows thought. This is another thing you'll hear a lot from me. Energy follows thought. Our thoughts are energy. Whatever you're thinking about is where your energy is. Your energy goes where your attention flows, or energy flows where your attention goes. Have it whichever way round you like, my Jedi friends. The principle is the same. What we think about, we energize. We energize what we think about. If you want more of something, think about it. There you go. Job done. Mic drop. See ya. We've done the energy. That's it. That's how we amplify our energy. That is where it's all about. Think of more of what you want and less of what you don't, and you will energize it, my Jedi friends. The trouble is, it's all very easy said than done, but we are tested, aren't we? We're surrounded by people that challenge us to think anything but the nicest things or the most energizing thoughts. So where is the happy medium there? Well, the happy medium is understanding this concept, because we're not going to stay in sweetness and light and high energy vibe all the time. The point being that the reason that we do live streams like this is a reminder that you have the tools to take yourself out of whatever situation you find yourself in. And I know especially you're on the stream here at Altug, so I'm going to definitely aim this at you, my friend. I mean, certainly, and for people watching the live stream, Altug is based in Ukraine. So, you know, his situation is different to what most of us will face. He's facing very real challenges that most of us will never even ever have to face. And in situations like that, how do you grab your energy? How do you start seeing good or thinking good when you're stuck in a war zone? Well, there's the sliding scale of where you might need this, or the extremes of where you might need techniques like this, techniques to make your energy feel better, to put yourself in a better thought space. I've got another Jedi here. I've got the Pink Princess has joined us. Yes, great to have you back. My Jedi friends, both in the house. That is always good. That's always good. So welcome to both of you. So you know the drill. And the challenge is just stay energized now. So ground yourself and work on your breathing, my Jedi friends. I have got turquoise blue in the house. Look, Jedis are coming out of the woodwork today. Loving it. I'm loving it, my Jedi friends. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And here's another principle that you may not be aware of, or maybe you are. The more people you get in a space with the same intention, the easier it is to amplify things. That's why when people go to events and you're surrounded by good people, then you feel better at the end of it. You feel good. You feel good because your energy is amplified. And when you come out of it, you might find your energy go down a little bit, because you're now out of the energy field. But fortunately, what we know with energy now is that you don't necessarily need to be in the same space or the same room for people to amplify their energy together. This is a really, really, really important concept of working with energy. So you can energize now, my Jedi friends. As the Jedis arrive on this live stream, we can all energize ourselves together. And we'll amplify each other's energy because we're all in here with the same intention. We are here with the same intention, my Jedi friends, to amplify our energy together, which is where it's at. That is where it is at, my friend. And what we're going to do now is focus on what more of you want, on what you want more of. So let's just say energy. Energy is a good place to start. You want more energy, but what would give you more energy? What do you need to have in place to have more energy? Is it more connection? Is it more money? Is it more love? Is it more clarity on what you're doing? And what we can do is energize whatever outcome it is that you're looking for right now. Let's energize that. Let's energize that, my Jedi friends. Let's put our focus towards it. So what we're going to do as we stream this, as I talk, we're going to be doing the work. And I know I've got my Jedis on here who understand exactly what the work is. We ground ourselves, we deepen our breath, and now we're going to connect to a source of energy that's high above us. That could be the sun, the moon, the stars, the universe, God, call it what you want. The highest source of energy that you know to exist above you, outside of you, we're going to connect to it right now. Could be your higher self. Whatever your reality is of what is the highest source of energy. Could be a ball of light just above your head. So as you're listening, you can energize. You don't have to wait. You can do it right now. And I'm just here to remind you that you can energize anytime that you want. Especially to my Jedi friends who've just been through the Jedi Training Academy and watching the good work that you've done there as well. Watching how you've evolved and watching that this is just a part of the journey. You know, knowing that this is part of the journey. Having done a course or done a training system, that's a set of tools. You've still got to do the building, right? If somebody hands you bricks and mortar, that doesn't necessarily equal a house. You have to do the building. You have to put in the hard yards. You have to do the hard work, my Jedi friends. So we're just here to remind each other that we can do the building and it's our choice to build whenever we want. And you're continuously building. You're continuously building your own energy. You're continuously working on your own mood. You are continuously upskilling so that you've got the tools. And not only that, this is really important. You're continuously being tested. You're being tested probably by a few assholes out there that are giving you a little prod from the universe, little prod every now and again to make sure that you've got these techniques, that you know how to turn things around, that you've got the techniques, that you know how to do it. So this is what energy is about. So always a reminder, those that have been through the program will know, I'm always telling people to come back to your breathing. Because, my Jedi friends, your breathing controls your mood. Your breathing controls your mood. And wherever you find yourself, however tough your situation is, whatever state of mind you find, energy work is about being able to catch yourself and have a system or techniques to turn things around. It's about becoming our own best friend. And breathing is always where it starts at. So, Lindsay's back. Having taken the tools from the course, I'm using them more and more and seeing even more results now. Well, fair play to you. And you have very much earned that. You've done such great work. You've got such a long way in that little 3-month period that we've worked together, Lindsay. I'm really proud to see the development that you've made and how you've started to energize yourself, how you're taking these more empowered approach. And not only that, from a very challenging set of life circumstances as well. It's never easy. It's never easy finding your tribe, being yourself, shining your light, especially when people around you just don't get it. And we talk about this a lot, the red pill. It's about taking the red pill, my Jedi friends. And part of the taking the red pill is when you take it, you think, oh, this is great. Why isn't everybody taking it? And then you suddenly come to the realization that most people around you have taken the blue pill. And you cannot understand for the life of you, why would so many people choose the blue pill? Why? Why would you want this for yourselves? Why? It's because you can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth, my Jedi friends. They can't handle the truth. Now, amplifying your energy comes at a cost. And it comes at a cost of understanding that when you do take the red pill, when you do decide to wake up, when you do go on that awakening path, that most people aren't going to do it because it's hard work. It's really hard work. You really have to, you've really got to step up. You've really got to go to the next level. And it's not easy. Let's just call it out. It's not easy. It is very uneasy. It can make you feel uneasy, my Jedi friends, and that's par for the course. It's par for the course. So we stay energized, and it's all about remembering you've always got the tools. So working with energy is a bit like meditation. And I'll tell you why I'm making this analogy now, because when I first went to a silent meditation retreat, and for those of you that don't know, this was before I'd done any meditation at all. It was brutal. It was excruciating. And as I was sitting there in pain, and silence, no phones, no reading, no writing, no nothing, alone with our own thoughts, sat down on my backside for 8 hours a day, just being told to meditate. Meditate, my Jedi friends, just meditate. Now, for most of you, 8 minutes a day would be a struggle. But for 8 hours every day for 10 days, sat down on my backside. And for all of the other time, still silent. We were doing things like walking meditation and little cleaning exercises. Now, there's something we talk about relative stuff. Now, for most of you, going and doing some cleaning stuff probably seem like a bit of a chore. When you're in a silent meditation retreat, the bit where you have to go and do some work is one of the best parts of the day because you get to move. You get to move. You get to appreciate sweeping or doing cleaning up or stuff like that. So everything's relative. You know, when we're given a set of circumstances, things that would be traumatic in one set of circumstances become a gift in another. And that's one thing that meditation taught me. But the reason I'm going down this rabbit hole is because they taught me something very, very interesting and very poignant. Very poignant. And that is that meditation is like sitting there watching clouds, and our thoughts are clouds. Now, the clouds will always come and go. Our ability is to see them as clouds and not to judge them or judge ourselves for thinking about certain things, but just to let them go like clouds do. The trouble is human nature is we want to hold on to stuff that seems so alluring. Oh no, that bastard, that asshole, there's a cloud. And we tend to follow the cloud around in the sky. It's like, yes, there it is. There. That's how it can come across. Some people get addicted to certain clouds. So Lindsay said the Buddhist monks do that. I think, Adam, it's part of their training. Yeah, they absolutely do, Lindsay. I spent quite a lot of time in those silent retreats when I was living in Southeast Asia. So it was part of my thing. It's like, well, I might not ever be here again. I might not get to live here in this environment. So while I'm here, I'm going to make the most of it. And I went on 4 of these silent meditation retreats. Now, meditation retreats are energy. Breath work is energy. The whole thing, slow down your breathing. That's it. Just imagine that for 10 solid days. Sit down and work on your breathing. Work on thinking about nothing. Think about nothing. There you go. You had to focus. We were told this exercise, just focus on this part of your nose and feel the breeze of your breath going through it. It's a great way to focus the mind and to get you focused on the here and now. So everything is about the here and now. All energy, it revolves around the here and now. We are here for the here and now, my Jedi friends. The only thing that's real is the here and now. The one thing that we can influence 24/7 is the here and now. Here and now. Now is here, my Jedi friends. Now is here. Now is here. What is it like, apart from incredibly difficult? Do you feel more peaceful, different? If you're talking about meditation now, what I can tell you is, for a beginner, surrounded by expert meditators, it's excruciating for most of the time. It's painful. It's painful on the knees. It's painful on the lower back. It's painful on the hips. And as I'm sitting there in excruciating pain, and sometimes where I was finishing meditations where I couldn't even move, my feet were numb, my legs were numb, I was crawling around. I didn't have use of my legs some of the time. I mean, it was painful for most of the time. But when you finally get it, in the moments where you finally let go and get it, it's incredible. It's like universal connection. It's like universal oneness. Now, this wasn't something I spent a lot of time in. And once I'd experienced it once, I then started chasing it. And then the mind does strange things to beginners in meditation. But just to be there, just to see what is possible through meditation, and to realize why most people will never understand it, because they'll never spend 10 days in pain to get there. Well, the truth is, I had to spend over 8 days in pain to get there before I finally got my first experience of universal interconnectedness. And it's an incredible place to find yourself in, just where everything seems to merge. It's difficult to describe to anyone that hasn't experienced it, because you'll never really get it in concept. It's very much, you've got to be there. You've got to be there, really, folks. You can talk about universal interconnectedness, being at one with the universe, all of these things, seeing yourself as your infinite being, being part of your God self. You can call it whatever you want. There's lots of different words for it, but it's incredible, but it's bloody painful to get there. That was my experience. You know, hopefully people wouldn't have to go through the same amount of pain that I went through to get there. But the bottom line is that most people won't do it. Most people won't do it because you don't have time. It's not a quick fix. You can't find enlightenment by the end of your TikTok video. You can talk about it. Talk about connection, universal oneness, all of these great concepts. But the reality is, it's a lifetime. I mean, Buddhists spend most of their life meditating to get there. Most of their life. Every day. Serious meditation. It just wouldn't do. Most Westerners just wouldn't survive in that environment. They absolutely would not survive in that environment. A lot of people can't even do the 10 days. They leave early. They're out. They're out of here. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. This wasn't what I signed up for. All this pain. No thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. I don't think so. I don't think so. My dog likes your voice, Adam. The white one, Bentley. He's come over to join the live. Well, fair play. Your dog's an absolute diamond. And dogs love energy. Probably know this already now that you've been working with it. I absolutely love it. When I start doing energy work, in fact, when I'm sat down in the house, the cats will battle for my lap because they know, they can feel it. They can feel the energy. They just know. Some people are like, oh, cats always like you. Dogs always come up to you. Pets come up to you. Butterflies land on you. It happens quite a lot to me. And I know it's because they feel energy. There's no need to explain it. to other animals, to nature that's connected into this stuff. They feel it and will be drawn towards it. So that's it's one of the key benefits of people working with energy. You'll find it yourself, Lindsay, now that you are trained in this, now that you know the techniques, that certainly cats and dogs, they love this stuff, absolutely love them. And not only that, but even babies that can't sleep respond really well to energy work. Used to use it when my niece and nephew were younger. I used to, if they were being a bit loud and boisterous, I'd just go and do some energy work. And the beauty of energy work, you don't even need to be in the same room. There you go. There's a technique. There's a technique. How does that work, Adam? Come to the Jedi Training Academy and find out, my Jedi friends. That's how it works. Like any system that's worth learning, anything that's worth using, it's worth an investment. And personally, I've spent tens of thousands of people training myself in these different things. But the reality is that you can train in as many systems as you want, unless you're actually going to use the techniques in between the training, then it's almost pointless. In fact, I'd say it's worse to know these tools and not use them than it is to not know the tools at all. Because for an empath, you have to work through other things like, do I deserve it? Even though I'm an energy master, do I deserve to be using energy 24/7? You have to work through stuff like that. And, when you finally wake up and realize, actually, it's all day, every day. Energy is all day, every day. Everything I think affects my mood, affects my body, affects my mind. Everything. And that includes the sit-down healing sessions and everything that you think in between it. Everything. And on that basis, it's a choice of what you want to think about. And this is how energy amplifies or not. The only difference between people that don't work with energy and people that do is that people that do work with energy have the option of a set of tools to reverse their mood. But that it's not always enough. Sometimes people want to be or prefer to stay in a negative mood because it feels so justified or compelling. And a lot of energy work, especially people that are drawn towards it, empaths, people with high empathy, working through that barrier of, do you deserve to be energized 24/7? Do you deserve to feel better now? Do you deserve to be using these techniques right here, right now? Do you deserve to take control of your energy, take control of your mood, and take control of your life in this moment here? And all the past is irrelevant in this moment. The future is irrelevant in this moment. There is, with energy, only this moment. And in this moment, here's another thing about working with energy. It's possible, entirely possible, to heal your past and create your future simultaneously. Because when you reach the point of realization that everything that happened to me brought me to this point where I'm now ready to heal myself, where I'm now ready to give myself better energy, I'm now ready to be a better friend to myself. You stop seeing good and bad in your life and you start seeing everything needed to happen exactly the way that it did to get me to this point. And maybe you're at this point and you just want to point the finger and say, no, things are not what they should be, not what they could be. But this is energy for you, my Jedi friends. It's not just us doing energy work together. It's you capturing your own thoughts in between the energy processes and realizing that in the here and now, you have a magnificent amount of power, not to change anyone else, but to change yourself. Now, the irony is, if you change yourself fundamentally and profoundly, you will change the energy and amplification of those around you, because you'll be giving off a higher vibe, a higher vibration, my Jedi friends. It's all about the vibration that we give off in the here and now. And you've got a choice. And it sounds very simplistic. But am I going to give off a high vibe right now? Or am I not? Am I not? Yes or no? And there's the question. That's what it comes down to. So I've been eating clean and fasting. It's so hard, but I feel good energetically. I would kill for a beer and a burger in the sun. Oh, well, fair play to you, Lindsay. Absolutely understand that one from doing a bit of fasting myself in the past. You go through all sorts of cravings, and that's addiction. You realize how addictive certain substances are. And you may not even realize you're addicted to them until you go on a fast. It's crazy, the stuff that I was looking forward to. Like, I was just having these mad pizza fixes of like thinking of pizzas and what I'd put on them and how long I'd cook them for and exactly the right level of crispiness. Like, that's probably not helping you, is it? But fair play to you for fasting, because that is a really good thing from an energy perspective. Fasting is a really good thing. Even raw food diets as a halfway house to fasting, that is a really good, seriously good thing to be doing to yourself. So look who's here. We've got New Yoda. New Yoda, thank you for joining us. Oh, what timing. Hi, Adam and friends. Well, you are here with the Jedis. We're here with the Jedi Council, my Jedi friend. And no better person to have on a Jedi Council than New Yoda. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for showing up. And for those that are slightly later to the stream, just a quick reminder that part of this stream is, as you're listening in, energize yourself and add to the energy circle here. You ground yourself, you work on your breathing, you connect with the source above you, and you just bring that energy into this moment. And not only that, what we're going to focus on, what you may want to focus on, is what you want more of in your life. What would you like more of in your life right now, my Jedi friends? So energy is a given, but you can use energy to energize something else. And Lindsay's probably there thinking beers and burgers. That's probably not good for you to be energizing right now, Lindsay. Not until the end of your fast. I don't know how you're fasting, how long you're fasting for, but yeah, fair play to you. Kudos. Tammy's in the house. Hi, Tammy. Thanks for joining us. Always good. Hello, Adam and other fellow empaths from America. Well, fair play, Tammy. We are now connected, both sides of the Atlantic. We are bringing the energy. We are connecting to a global grid. That's what we're doing, my Jedi friends. We're going to connect from all over the planet and energize each other. That's what this is about. Holding the space, energizing, greatness, magnificence. We're going to energize magnificence for ourselves. That's what we're going to do. So energy work is as simple or as complicated as you choose to make it. That's really important, because working with energy can be really simple. Ground, breathe, connect above, job done. Or it can be really complicated. Now, I know that there's certain branches of Reiki, especially when you get into Reiki 2, you've got to do symbols, you've got to write them a certain way or they won't work, or you've got to do them this way, that way, that. I heard all sorts of nonsense when I was training initially in energy work. And there's some people that love to complicate working with energy because it means they can charge more. They can charge you more if it's more complicated. Let's complicate. Oh no, energy works really simple. I know what we'll do. Let's make it infinitely more complicated, and then we can upsell this level, that level, another level, and a level above that. Now, there's no reason why you shouldn't upsell energy mentoring, because working with energy brings up certain things. You still need somebody to help you guide you along that. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Tammy says, correct me if I'm wrong. So, well, all I've seen you say, Tammy, is hello, Adam, and other fellow empaths from America. So the only reason I can see that you'd be wrong in that instance is if you're not in America. I suspect that you are. So on that basis, Tammy, I don't think you're wrong. So I don't feel I need to correct you. And All Tug says, hi, Tammy. So there you go. Jedis are out. The Jedis are out, Tammy. They're all welcoming you from the other side of the Atlantic. There you go. There you go. So, but you've taken all these energetic knowledge and given us, what's that? Kif notes? Kif note. I don't know what Kif notes are, Tammy. You'll have to excuse me. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. But New Yoda says UK here. So there you go. We've got a conglomerate from the UK. We've got All Tug in Ukraine. We've got Tammy over in America. And we have Rhonda. Fantastic. Good to have you here, Rhonda. Fair play. Fair play. The Jedis are properly out now. We're out in force. We are out in force. So cliff notes. So what are cliff notes, Tammy? That's not an expression that I am familiar with. Notes on a cliff, a condensed version. So I'm not quite sure. I've lost context. Condensed version of what? Cliff notes? I don't know what cliff notes are. Tammy, you're just confusing me. You are here to confuse me. You are the Jedi Unmaster. You're trying to confuse. You're trying to energize confusion at my end, and it is working. It is working. You're doing a good job. I've got no idea what you're on about, Tammy. So, but it's good that you're here. We're here. We're energizing. That is the way. That is the way, my Jedi friends. So we'll take the win there. We will take it. Absolutely. So, my Jedi friends, for those late to the stream, you know the drill. Ground, breathe, connect above. And energize the stream so that we energize each other. Set an intention that everyone here, everybody that's energizing here, and for people that are rewatching this, the way that energy works is it's timeless. So we're going to put this energy in a vacuum that people can tap into it afterwards as well. We're going to create an energy space to amplify the energy of everybody that taps into it. This is like the ultimate win-win in energy. We're creating an energy circle where all people that are here to energize each other on the same mission, where we can amplify each other's energy together. And look, we've just got Grizzly Gurr in the house, another one of our American contingent. Look at that. We're being energized. We've got Jedis popping up all over the planet now to contribute to the energy circle that we're all putting out there. So we're energizing the here and now. We're energizing everybody that's watching this. We're going back to our breathing. We're staying grounded. We're connecting to a source of light above us. And we can do all that as you watch, as I talk. As I talk, I can do that because I set it. I'm thinking about it now. As you're watching, you can do that because you're thinking about it right now. You are thinking about it, my Jedi friends. I'm loving the full empath team being here. Let's go. Fair play, Lindsay. You know the drill. You know the drill. Thanks for the great intro, says Grizzly. Lol. Well, fair play, Grizzly. It's always good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for contributing your energy to this circle of energy that we bring. And what I bring right now is a cup of tea. A cup of tea I'm going to energize. So, my friends, here's something interesting that you may or may not know. You can energize your food and drink by sending it love. By sending it love. You can send love to your food and drink, and it helps. It helps. Tammy's back. I keep hitting the wrong button. Oops. Cliff notes are like key ideas of a subject, usually used as a cheat sheet by college students. Laughed my ass off. Tammy's laughing her ass off at cheat sheets. Well, this is a cheat sheet for you, Tammy. Energy is very simple. Connect above and below and breathe deeper. There you go. Job done. Job done. Slam dunk. Slam dunk, my Jedi friends. We are going to energize as we listen in. I always think of the scene from Highlander when they cut the heads off and you see suddenly they get all the energy there. Well, luckily you don't have to cut anyone's head off to get that energy surge when we do this. So Grizzly says, I love your backdrop. Yeah, I was searching nature gardens. I thought, this is a nice backdrop. We're going to get a little bit of nature into a Zen place. So there you go. I mean, it's way more exciting than the actual wall I have in the backdrop now. But I figured, let's bring it in. Let us bring it in. Let's bring in energy. Energy, the only limit when we play with energy is our imaginations, my Jedi friends. That is the only limit. You are limited by your imagination. Lindsay says, I do this with my water atom. I've been sending it love. I have a crystal infused water today. Absolutely. Well, you'll know, Lindsay, because I've talked about this before, but the work of Masaru Emoto is fascinating, absolutely fascinating. It was game-changing for me. Game-changing for me. Masaru Emoto is the dude. So, and Rhonda says, cymatics is a vibrational phenomenon. Well, I've not even heard it called that before, Rhonda, but I shall be looking that up. I shall be looking it up. That sounds interesting. I'm guessing that that's the stuff that Masaru Emoto was talking about. And his work's really interesting. This is fascinating. We have gone down a fascinating rabbit hole for those that are new to this. So let's just talk about, for anyone that watched The Secret, they addressed Masaru Emoto's work on The Secret. So Rhonda says, in sync with just what you just said. So absolutely. So we're talking about Masaru Emoto's work here. So his history and background is really, really interesting, and it's very relevant from an energy perspective. So I feel that the conversation has been directed here. It's been directed here, my Jedi friends. Directed here. So what Masaru Emoto, he grew up in Japan, and what he realized was that the local doctor, people would come if they had an issue, and he'd send them away, and then they'd come back in a couple of hours and he'd give them water. And they all seemed to miraculously get better just drinking water. And he wondered, how is that possible? How is it even possible? So when he was old enough to go out and do research, he spent years attempting to freeze water crystals so he could study it. So a big part of Masaru Emoto's journey was finding a technique to freeze water molecules so he could study them under a microscope. And what he did, he'd get water from the same source, he'd put it in 2 cups, and in 1 cup, he'd put "You Fool" on it, and on the other cup, he'd put "I love you." And then he'd leave the water for a little bit. And what he did, he then froze that water from both cups, and found that on the "You Fool" part, that the crystals are distorted further from their original formation. And on the cup with "I love you," that the crystals or the formations had perfectly harmonized. They formed these beautiful crystalline structures. And he did it on different water sources, in different countries, and he did it in different languages with what he wrote down, writing the "You Fool" and "I love you" in different languages to see if it made any difference. And the bottom line was that all the energy, all the "I love yous" were perfectly synced, and all of the "You Fools" were distorted way beyond what they originally started. Now, his work is worth looking into because it is a fascinating field. And not only that, but he's spent his lifetime studying this thing. And just imagine that our body is roughly 70% water. So with that in mind, just think how your thoughts influence everything in your body. What you're thinking, what you're putting out. Now, you don't have to believe this. You don't. But if you really want to go down a rabbit hole with it, and I did go down this rabbit hole, my Jedi friends. It is fascinating. It's a fascinating rabbit hole. And it gets you to really consider how all of your thoughts 24/7 affect the crystalline structure of your water, your body, and your life. And how dis-ease manifests. Dis-ease. That if we're thinking tough things, we can get tough results. And how healing might be able to work. How practically it can work. It certainly looks to connect a few dots. A few dots may connect. They may not. May think it's rubbish. May not believe me. Lindsay says, so plants respond to being told you love them too. And my pets every day. Absolutely. That's been studied as well. That has been studied. So here's another interesting one. Originally, when I first went down this rabbit hole, was back in the mid-90s. And I went and I worked in an American summer camp. And they were all talking about this new phenomenon book that had just come out around about 1996, round about then. And it was called The Celestine Prophecy. And all people were talking about Celestine Prophecy this, Celestine Prophecy that, blah, 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 blah. So I read it. I thought, all right, I'll read this thing. And it was incredible. They talked about a few things that really started to resonate with me. But one of them was how our thoughts can influence plants. I mean, that really was sort of next level for me at that time. It was like, really, really. They've done experiments where they've linked plants up to things that can measure their energy, can measure their chi going through them. And then broken leaves off and found that it affects the plants. They've also done certain music. They found that plants respond really well to certain music. So Lindsay said, OMFG, Adam, my favorite book. You know, a lot of people were into it, Lindsay, a load of people. I read the Celestine far and wide. I did back in the day. I was reading it and at first I was just, it was almost like taking the piss when I was like, it must be Celestine, because they talk about coincidences, don't they? They talk about these mad coincidences that happen. And so I was like, oh, it must be Celestine. It must be, this must be Celestine. That must be Celestine. Celestine must be like, so, because the Americans were saying this all the time. I thought I'll amplify it. I'll just say, look, that must be Celestine. Oh, look, you're here and so am I. It must be Celestine. I've actually, funnily enough that we mentioned this, one of the videos I've recorded that'll be released over the next week. I talk about this. I talk about coincidence, Celestine, synchronicity, how our thoughts influence things when we start to focus on things, how we're far more likely to draw them towards us. I won't ruin that story because that's coming out. It's coming out soon, my Jedi friends. But the bottom line is, it really did. It was a catalyst book for me, reading the Celestine Prophecy. It really was. Back in the mid-90s, it was a new age revolution that started in America. And it's only that I spent a summer over in America with kids there. I was working in summer camps, working with American counselors. They were all talking about this book. They were all talking about it. It's Celestine. I think they turned it into a film as well. The film wasn't as good as the book. I mean, you hear that a lot, but I don't think they really did it justice. I don't think they did. But for anyone that hasn't read it, yeah, I'll give a recommend to that. It's called The Celestine Prophecy by a chap called James Redfield. And for those that aren't quite as old as me, well, there you go. There's a little bit of, I don't know, is that ancient knowledge now? How are we ancient? Like, anyone around in the mid-90s must be ancient. There you go. A bit of prehistoric trivia for you, my Jedi friends. Well, there's a thing. You had a little giggle thinking about the Celestine prophecy and how I went out to take the piss out of it first. And I was just saying it all the time. And in the end, I became a complete convert. I went from taking the piss out of it to, wow, there's definitely something in this. I had the most amazing trip in the States when that was my guide, because everything was like, it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I got really good at saying, it's really meant to be. It must be Celestine. It must be. It must be. It's happened for a reason. It's happened for a reason, my Jedi friends. That's what it's happened. So there you go. There's a bit of a blast from the past. Blast from the past. So as we're talking, so for just as a quick reminder, we are consistently energizing ourselves right now, right here, right now. As you're listening, as I'm talking, we're working with energy to amplify the group energy here. We're all in the circle, my Jedi friends. We're all in it together. We are in it together. We are energizing each other right here, right now. So Rhonda said, absolutely everything is connected. Quantum physics is now proving it. We can choose our life path by becoming the frequency of what you desire. Intriguing and fascinating. It absolutely is. It absolutely is, Rhonda. It really is about that. And it's just constant reminders that we need to keep energizing what we want and what we prefer to be in a better vibration, to be in a better energy, to be in a better mood, to work on the here and now. That's where it's all at. All at. So Tammy says, I'm walking proof that you can help heal yourself. Even though I did not know what I was doing at the time. Lol. I love a little lol there, Tammy. I bet you weren't lolling at the time when you were waking up to this, were you? And I was able to get off all rheumatoid arthritis and other drugs the doctors had me on. Well, fair play to you, Tammy. I probably for legal reasons, it's best that I don't go there on this particular live stream. But yes, don't even get me started with doctors and pharmaceuticals compared to healing yourself and energy medicine. Well, that's an interesting conversation for another day. For another day, my Jedi friend. I've got a few more comments to go through here. Lindsay says, fascinating, Rhonda. I'm still working to align with it, but I love this stuff. Absolutely. I bet you love it more now with all the great progress you've made as well. Fantastic. New Yoda. Did God write love into the light of the sun? Well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe you are God, Yoda. That could be it. This is my reality, that there is God energy that we can all connect into. There's also devil energy that you can connect into if that's what you're into. But who's to say it doesn't run through you? Why does God have to be external? There's a question. Why can it not just interconnect all of us together? There you go. There's a philosophical debate. Could start off a riot with questions like that. Who do you think you are? Do you think you're God? No, my Jedi friends, but I do believe I can tap into that kind of energy occasionally. So there you go. Grizzly's back. Amazon has it on Kindle. Celestine Prophecy. Well, Grizzly, I'll be very surprised if they didn't. Back in the day, Celestine Prophecy was like massive news. In the mid-90s, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing something, especially in the States. When I was in the States that summer, it was everywhere. Everywhere. I was infected by Celestine. So I became it. I decided to out Celestine because all the Americans were talking about it all the time. I decided to out-hype them. Everything that happened, I was like, it must be Celestine. It must be. Celestine must have caused this. Celestine must have caused you to wake up at that exact time and come out walking so that we could meet at this spot. I was getting really into it. Every connection I had, Celestine has guided it. Tammy says, lol, laugh out loud. I know what lol is. I know what lol is, Tammy, but I can tell you a story. I was just saying, when you were working through your rheumatoid arthritis, you probably weren't lol. I bet that didn't happen at the time. But anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you were laugh. Maybe you laughed yourself out of rheumatoid arthritis. Who knows? That could have been it. Maybe I've misread it. Maybe, absolutely, maybe, could be. Although I do remember reading a news thing that there was a big relationship fallout by a guy who thought that LOL was lots of love, and when his partner said she'd broken her leg, he put I'm sorry to hear that. LOL. That's why acronyms can be dangerous. Don't use them. No, stop it. Don't use acronyms. Well, I suppose it's all right. I'll let you use them, Tammy, since it's you. Since we now know that LOL is laugh out loud. Thank you for clarifying that. So Rhonda is back. She's back in the house. Is love the source code? Well, who knows? There could be certainly worse source codes than that. Interestingly enough, when we learned NLP and we were doing energy release and emotional release, we were told that there are two emotions. There is love and everything else. So on that basis, quite possibly. So Grizzly's back. Lol. She's doing a lot of laughing. Grizzly's laughing a lot today. Well, I never heard of Celestine from US. There you go. See, aren't I just a source of information for you, Grizzly? You never know what you're going to find out on these streams. Never know, do you? See, little gems that just pop out from holding the space, from energizing the zone. That is what we do here. We just hold the space. We energize the zone. We amplify the group energy for all of you to tap into, which is what we're doing. Tap in to the group energy, because that's where it's all at. It's where it's all at, my Jedi friends. That's where we do it. That's how we do it. That is why we do it. We are here to energize, and we do that by setting the intention right here, right now, to increase our energy. And that's how we do it. And because we're all in the same circle now, we're all holding each other accountable. And because we're all using energy, we're all not just energizing ourselves, we're amplifying the energy field that we're all in right now. And I will repeat for people who are watching this on the replay, this energy space has been created. It's like an energy cave. It's a vortex now that anyone can visit. It is being energized in this moment. It will stay energized. This video is like an energy crystal now. When you watch it, you'll be able to tap into the energy that's being created in this moment. So you can still get the same energy watching it later. There you go. There you go. Full of surprises, me. Full of surprises. But I have to say it, and I will say it, because it's true. If you really want to up your energy, and I know I've got a few of my Jedi friends on here, then you will get on one of my Jedi training programs, because that is how we do it. We hold each other accountable. We all do it together. We raise the vibe. And not only that, one thing that's come out of this for me is so many of our Jedi friends are feeling very isolated in their own environments at the moment, because so many people took the blue pill. They took the blue pill, my Jedi friends, fancy that. So just having a supportive network of people to run stuff by is as much to do with the process as anything else. It can be very isolating if you're having to go through this, that red pill journey on your own, which is why we've set this up. We've set it up, my Jedi friends. And as I tell to everybody, to everyone that goes on it, I guarantee you're going to get results. They may not be the results that you wanted, but you're definitely going to get results. Because one thing that we popped into the preamble of it all is quite often what we need and what we want are two different things. And energy always gives you what you need and not what you want. Now, occasionally, very occasionally. What you want may be what you need occasionally, but more often than not, it isn't. And I'll tell you why. Because energy follows thought. If you knew what you needed, you would have it. Because you would want it. You would want it enough to get it, and then you would have it. But quite often, what we need, we don't want. We want the opposite of what we need. We want everyone else to change. We don't want to have to change ourselves. That's too much hard work. Stop that. Stop it. No. Oh, Tugs jumped in. I wish I took the blue pill. After your course, I understood I took the red pill. Anally, very deep. It's a brutal process, Tug, and I can only imagine. I mean, you've shared some of your experiences. It's not my job to share them on here, but enough to say that I know that your situation and set of circumstances, I mean, really does bring to life the, just how brutal life can be, especially when you're living in a war zone. Some people say they live in a war zone, but they're not really literally a war zone like it is in Ukraine at the moment. So, everything is relative, and we all have different challenges to face. But yes, it doesn't matter whether you're in a war zone or not. Taking the red pill is brutal. Brutal, my Jedi friends. You see the film, think, why wouldn't you want the red? Why wouldn't you want to take it? But most people don't have the agility of Neo to dodge those bullets and those bespectacled dudes that come at you from the Matrix. So here we go. New Yoda has jumped in. Once you take the red pill, there's no going back. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, just ask Alltug about that. Rhonda, Alltug, so true. So isolating in the zombie apocalypse. The connection with like-minded is what I got from the course. Being able to be yourself is the basis for good mental health. It absolutely is. And kudos to you all. Kudos to Rhonda, Alltug, and Lindsay all went through the Jedi Training Academy. And I mean, I just had an amazing time working with all of you. And hearing the challenges that you're going through at the moment made me realize that, it seems to be right now that the vibrational shift is like jolting, almost like the electric paddles in the emergency room or the casualty department. The emergency paddles, like coming into empaths and jolting them out of whatever it is they're in. Being jolted into waking up. And that's because you took the red pill. Shouldn't have taken the red pill. Can I have a refund? I want a refund on the red pill. Give me my money back. I want to be a sleepy sheepy. I would rather be asleep. Put me back to sleep and put me in the Matrix. I'm done with this. I don't have the resilience anymore. Now, if you're going through this journey and you don't think that at least once, it probably tells me that you're not quite on the journey that you thought you were. Because one thing that does come up is deep regret of how lonely and isolating it is and how nice it would be if you had not taken the red pill. And why did you take the red pill? And what's the point? When you're feeling isolated and lonely after taking it, it can be a brutal journey. Absolutely brutal. So that's something to consider, my Jedi friends. Doing this shit alone is difficult. And that's why I've set up the Jedi Training Academy, because I've realized that. I have realized that people just need a little bit of nudge, a little bit of support at the end of it. And as everybody that's been through that on the stream will tell you, that once they're through the program, now you're never really through it. This is just showing you a set of techniques. The work is never done. You're never finished. You're always growing. You're always learning. You're always evolving. But what this does is just give you to what it feels like to be accountable for a 3-month period. To have to show up every week and say, right, this happened to me this week. And there's some weeks you might show up and just say, I didn't do anything this week. Fuck it. And that's all right too. you know, because everybody has to go through periods like that. We all go through periods like that. It's going to be slower parts of the journey than others. That's just the way that it rolls. It's the way that we roll. We roll that way. And Altug says, I'm in a safe zone now. I'll return next week. But seriously, the last week of your course opened so harsh truths. I was clueless before. Well, I think you were ready for it, Altug. I mean, you're just in a very challenging situation, surrounded by a lot of very challenging people by the sound of it. I mean, it really is. I mean, the daily reality of being in Ukraine and not knowing if somebody's going to come knocking on your door and drag you to the front line, I think really that's just next level. It's the next level. So dealing with stuff on top of that, I mean, that's next level. That's boss level shit that you're in. And Glenn is here. Hi, Glenn. Good to have you here, my friend. Children seem to be more awake than adults. Well, there's a lot of high vibe children coming in to raise the vibration now, Glenn. Absolutely. I've seen a lot of wisdom in some very young looking faces this day and age. A lot of tapped in people coming through. And I think you realize you can see ancient wisdom coming in through a new body. That sounds a bit out there, doesn't it? Sounds a bit out there. They've reincarnated. Who are these ascended masters or these semi-ascended masters or these people that sound like ascended masters? Who knows? Who knows? But wisdom can come in at any angle. And not only that, we don't know. I mean, just because we're at a certain age in this life, that doesn't necessarily mean wisdom. Age does not necessarily mean wisdom, my Jedi friends. So the truth can come in multiple different packages. And yes, as you pointed out there, Glenn, sometimes surprisingly young. And that's what the reason that that's happening now, the reason why higher vibe entities are being, I say entities, let's call them human beings so that we stay on track here. That people are being born with a higher vibe because we have to. I mean, we're in the shit or bust zone of this planet now. I mean, we're wrecking it, absolutely wrecking it. Humans are acting like a virus on the planet. And if we don't get enough people waking up now, we might as well just nuke the place. Probably will by the sound of it. Enough lunatics get their fingers on the trigger, then anything's possible. So we're here to raise the vibe of the planet, raise the vibe of the planet, my Jedi friends. That's what we're going to do. New Yoda says, make the world a peace zone. Well, fair play, New Yoda, absolutely. We're doing that one person at a time. And what's really important about this journey that we have to acknowledge is we've got to start with ourselves. It's all very well wanting to heal the world, but you've got to start with yourself. And that is where we're at. We're certainly working on the Jedi Training Academy. And I know I'm giving out a plug. We're starting a new Jedi Training Academy next week. So, and this will be the last time that you can get in at this price. So I have to say it, folks. I have to say it because I know that the value that this brings. And I know that if I wasn't to sell it, that the universe would suffer as a result because it really is wake up time. And the sort of level of stuff that we need now to get to wake up. We need to awaken. We need to smell the coffee. We need to get in alignment with sorting our own shit out so that we can shine our light authentically. And a lot of this is understanding the dark side within you as well. We've got to embrace our darkness before we can shine our light, which is why going through these processes is not all sweetness and light. It has to bring up some heavy duty emotions. Heavy duty emotions, my Jedi friends. That is just the way that we have to roll. So Altug says the universe doesn't give us what we want, it gives us what we need. We want peace, but the way leading to peace, I'll be silent. Fair play to you, Altug. Isn't that the way? Gives us what we need, not what we want. And fair play to you for being able to make that distinction, especially in the set circumstances that you've given. And I know I've watched your journey through this. And fair play to you. Absolutely fair play to you for the progress that you've made, the really good progress that you've made. And I think you've got plenty of Jedis now in the social group that have got your back. Absolutely. And have felt your pain and your journey. We're with you, my friend. So Glenn says, I'm guilty of countering kids, waking up opportunities and reversing it now. When my kids ask why over and over, I engage the question until they get tired of it. Well, fair play, Glenn. You know, it's actually quite an awakened thing to realize that your kids are teachers. A lot of kids have got some really pure wisdom coming through, and we train them into the bullshit that they have to deal with for the rest of their life. In fact, in energy work, we say that kids heal their parents. Now, this is a rabbit hole, and I'm noticing the time of this stream. It's gone longer than I anticipated, so I'm going to pause myself on going down this rabbit hole right now. But one thing I would say is that children heal their parents, kids heal their parents, and they do that by taking on a lot of their energy and a lot of their bullshit. And if they're not awakened, if they don't wake up in their lifetime, they pass it to the next generation, which is why awakening is so important, not just for yourself, because your family will have to heal you, your kids will have to heal you, you'll have to take on your energy, and they will pass on what you've passed to them if they don't wake up themselves in their lifetime. Yes, that is a rabbit hole too far. Considering the time of the stream, we should maybe have that one a bit earlier. Maybe I'll do a complete video on that one at some times, Glenn. But you've definitely opened up a very interesting part of the stream there. And Rhonda says, I sense they're being born without preset programming to help raise the vibration. We live in the Emperor's New Clothes story, and the truth tellers are the new warriors being refined under pressure. Absolutely. Well, you've come to know that, Rhonda. Speaking a bit of your own truth lately as well. So as you know, it doesn't matter when we wake up, as long as we do wake up. You know, and it's harder later on in life because you have to then awaken to all of the bullshit that you sucked up for all of those years. And it's tough. It's tough. You realize there's so many people that you gave too much energy to probably didn't warrant it, but they had to wake you up. They had to wake you up. No, kids, the bullshit stops with me, lol. Fair play to you, Lindsay. That's exactly my philosophy on the subject as well. That's where I fell down on it. And Tammy says, I don't like my dark side, let alone others that really know me. Because I just call it as I see it. No candy coating, no BS, 100% the truth. Well, if you don't like your dark side, Tammy, then that is the issue. Because the no BS part of you, the bit that tells the truth, is just as light a character in the big picture of things. Because if you're caught in a narcissistic relationship or you're dealing with arseholes, being sweetness and love isn't going to work. So if you don't love your darker side that can deal with that shit, then that's part of the problem. It's part of the problem. You have to love your dark side as well. That is the whole point. Light workers, we all want love. We all want love, don't we? We all want to feel the love, feel the vibe. No, don't want to be angry. That's the problem. Sometimes arseholes come in. Sometimes people with guns might come in. If you're in Ukraine right now with Altug, and going up and giving them a hug isn't going to work, my Jedi friends. That is not going to work. So being in touch with your dark side, knowing that it has a place and it's serving you and has your back is a big part of the journey here. So it's actually a good point that you've brought up there, Tammy. Grizzly says, Karen Reid Boston murder trial coming back from lunch break. Gotta go. Thanks and bye. Okay, well, good luck there, Grizzly. That sounds intriguing. Karen Reid, Boston murder trial. Well, there you go. Can't compete with that. I would say enjoy, but I'm not sure that would be the right thing to say. But what I will say, my Jedi friends, is we're coming to an end here. And what I would say for anyone watching this this stream is that if you're watching this and you're still watching this now, I'm about to start my next Jedi Training Academy, which will start next week. And this will be your last run up to signing up to that. I'm going to be pushing this. We're only going to take a small number. There'll definitely be no more than 10 people on it. And this will be life changing. And my Jedi friends, I'm going to guarantee it because I know that this thing delivers. It may not be what you want it to deliver, but it will definitely deliver what you need for certain. It will deliver what you need. Please stop the compliments on my situation, Adam. I'm so grateful to you for making me love my dark side so much that my new challenge is not to be a dark worker. We've had this conversation before, Altug. You know the drill. You know, we are both. We are both. Absolutely, we are both. And you've got to love both sides equally. And a real dark worker is not even going to have this conversation with themselves. Grizzly, it'd be great to get you on board. Do join us. Do join us for the Jedi Training Academy. I'm sure that you'll get some very interesting testimonials. You'll definitely get something out of it. You are definitely ripe. You are ripe for the Jedi Training Academy, and it'll be great to get you on board it. So, I mean, I don't like having to let my dark side out because I am brutal, no filter, truth. Then people get mad because I was right and telling the truth. Well, the only subtle distinction I would say with that, Tammy, is I'm very comfortable in letting out my dark side when I'm dealing with arseholes. And I don't see why you don't like having to. Because you've got to love that side of you that doesn't take any bullshit either. When you know that you're dealing with narcissism, and this is a distinction, empaths at the core want to be kind, want to be nice, and want to raise the vibration of people. So I get that part of it. But occasionally you're dealing with narcissism. If you're dealing with narcissism, you've got evil entities coming into your world. Now that I know that we've got evil entities coming into your world, you can understand their motivations and what they're here and what they want to do. I'm very comfortable, and I encourage people on the Jedi Training Academy to be very comfortable in speaking their truth there, fearlessly, and without not liking it. They actually do like it after a lifetime of sucking that shit up. That's something to embrace, something to love, something to celebrate. That would be the subtle distinction between what my message I think you're trying to say and where I look to get people to in the Jedi Training Academy. Subtle, but really important. And Lindsay says, I'm getting comfortable. It didn't come naturally, but it was very necessary. Absolutely. And especially, you know, the situation that you had to deal with as well. Situations, Lindsay. You know, it takes a lot of bravery to get there. And you can doubt yourself. It can be very lonely, the journey going through this. But entirely necessary. Entirely necessary, my Jedi friends. It has to be done. It has to be done. So yes, this has definitely gone beyond what I intended it to do. I shall wrap it up in a minute or so in case anybody wants to put in any final words, which you're very welcome to do. But I want to thank you all for amplifying the energy today with me. Please do reach out, get in touch, because next week we're starting the next Jedi Training Academy, and it will change your life. I can tell you that for certain. It certainly will. Because it will give you techniques, and it will give you reminders, and it will give you accountability, and it will give you a network, and it will give you a space to do what you need to do, not what you want to do. Like, let's make that distinction. It will give you what you need, not necessarily what you want. That's the distinction. There lieth the lesson, my Jedi friends. And Lindsay says, thank you, Adam, and the best of luck to the new Jedi cohort. Lol. Well, see, Lindsay knows the subtle difference between getting what you need versus getting what you want now, which is why there's a little lol there. We had to go through a little process, didn't we, Lindsay? And Glenn says, thank you. You're very welcome, Glenn. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you all for contributing to another great stream. Well, I say it's great. It's only great because of the energy that you bring to it. It's a bit, sounds a bit egocentric, doesn't it? Yes, I've been great. I have been great. Yes, here we go. I'm off to fluff my ego a little bit more. Hopefully that doesn't come across, my Jedi friends. And I wish you all a fantastic weekend. Please do reach out if you're in any way interested in the Jedi Training Academy, and we'll have a one-on-one. Let's have a conversation, because let me just assure you of one thing, one final thing. Not everybody's ready for this. It's just as important that I have to vet you to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into here. So we're probably best that we have a chat before you sign up to the Jedi Training Academy, because it is not all sweetness and light, my Jedi friends. It is not all sweetness and light. But on that note, I wish you all a fantastic weekend. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for being part of the stream, my Jedi friends. Enjoy yourself, energize, and have a fantastic time.